Well, recently us press had a special opportunity to have a go at Survived By with the developers of the actual game. This whole footage here is actually captured on the day of the event with the developers guiding us through. I hope you enjoy. And right at the end I will have some raw footage from the game with some questions that I chucked at them answered by them as well. Enjoy.
Alright, well welcome again to So before we get into some of the bullet hell madness, of course you're going to have to create your character. So if you guys can just click play and bring up that character select screen, there will be an open character slot on the far left. If you guys could select that one, please. Once you pick that open character slot, you'll be asked to name your character. Go ahead and name it whatever you'd like. I'll be calling mine Catherine, just so you guys know me, which is fine. And go ahead and click next when you're ready. The next screen, that's going to bring you to our character class selection screen. So we actually have 6 different character classes to select from and survive by, and each one has a unique special ability, and it's going to come with different types of tactical decisions that you're going to make while playing that specific character class. So we have the Harbinger, which is like a longer range archer class, the Alchemist, which is our mage, the Infiltrator is like a rogue, the Sentinel is our tanky healing class. The Geomancer has turrets, and each one of the turrets shoot bullets. Really good for managing a lot of tiny creeps at once. And then, of course, we have the Druid, who turns into a bear. So I think we have a pretty solid team comp with all of us here. So go ahead and select whichever class you would like. I feel confident we'll be just fine. That one's my favorite. I know, choices.
So many choices. Oh no. I'm so bad with these things. I'm going Druid.
Druid? Alright, good choice. Okay, so whenever you guys are ready and you've picked your class, the next screen it'll take you to is your Ancestral Legacy screen. So Survive By, unlike traditional roguelikes, we're actually roguelite with a T. So you don't lose everything after you die, even though the game has perma-death. When your character dies, they're survived by the next character in their ancestral lineage, and they pass on these legacies to the next character. And these ancestral legacies are going to give them new stat boosts and buffs that they wouldn't have otherwise. So you could sort of think of it as being like a snowball effect. The farther you get, the better legacies you're going to earn, and the better legacies you have on your character, the farther you're going to get, and it just keeps going. So actually, if you want to select that first legacy, it'll show you your legacy selection screen. Choose from. You can have up to 200 in your hand at once, on your account at once. But we have 85 different legacies for you to pick from, and because you're choosing 4, of course, there are hundreds of different hands that you can create, different builds you can make. So go ahead and pick whichever ones you would like. In the lower left-hand corner, you'll notice there's icons there. Those are going to correspond to set bonuses. Have at least 2 cards that have a matching icon on them. That means that you'll get a set bonus from it. So, you know, maybe you're trying to build a tankier character. You can select 2 that have that heart icon on it, and that will give you a health-related set bonus. Go ahead and pick. We've got a lot of different drop-down menus and search bar and things like that if you're looking more specifically for something that's going to suit your hand. And just let me know whenever you're ready.
Well, I've chosen mine, so. But you can just have 1 right now, right?
You can actually select all 4. So clicking that first slot will let you pick the first one, and then you can click the second slot, and it'll allow you to choose the second one, and so on.
Oh.
Your hand picked? Are you all set?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yes, I think I've also jumped in the game already.
We'll be there soon, don't worry. Okay, so the next screen is going to be your character skin selection screen. So we have a lot of different skins for you to choose from, unique to each character class. But we also, next week, are going to be adding an attachment system, so you can accessorize your character even further, and that's going to be things that kind of are around the character, like a halo or wings or something like that. So go ahead and pick whichever one you like. Myself and the other developers will all be in the meat shield skins. We try not to take ourselves too seriously, so I'll be running around as a hot dog.
Well, then it's easy to keep eye on you guys. Alright.
Alright, and then whenever you're set, just go ahead and click create and select that character and it'll load you into the game. For the heartlands. Okay, so if you guys can all take your cursor, just move it up into the upper right hand corner of the screen, you'll see that's our mini map.
Yeah.
You can see all of us for those little yellow circles that are moving around up there. Scroll out.
Like a ball of cereals. Cereal rings.
Okay, so if you scroll out with your mouse wheel, you can see this is the Heartlands. We are right at the dead center. So there was this cataclysmic event that occurred many, many years ago, where basically the world tree was corrupted, and this resin seeped out of these cracks that appeared, and it began corrupting all of the beasts that were living in the Heartland. There were Chimera and Fury, and they all began attacking humanity, because we used to be spread onto the all corners of the world tree. And so to defend ourselves from the brink of extinction, we all moved inward to the tower, which is the only truly safe location right now in the Heartland. So that is where we are currently. Of course, the rest of the Heartland is still prowling with those terrible beasts, so we'll have to keep an eye out for them. Alright, so let's go just up and to the left slightly here. This is our daily challenge board. If you guys want to go ahead and press E, you can take a look at that. So these are sort of like mini quests that you can take on every day, and they'll refresh every certain number of hours, and you can keep doing them. And this is how you're going to earn bloodstone. So our game has a completely fair free-to-play model where any of the skins that you guys saw in the character create screen, any armor that you would want to make, anything like that, it can be purchased, or it can be earned by using these bloodstones and trading them in for currency. So doing these quests is how you can earn some of those things for your character. So we don't need to worry about taking on any of these challenges now. We've sort of got our own adventure that we're going to be going on. But let's all move over to the right a bit. Up.
Oh, moonwalking.
So these are our crafting stations. Crafting is a really big part of Survive By. So as you're moving throughout the Heartlands and you're taking out these beasts, they're going to be dropping crafting materials that you can bring back here to create new armor for your character, weapons, and these things are going to allow you to take on more difficult bosses that are located in the dungeons that we'll see later. So it's really just a cycle of getting out there, killing bigger and badder beasts, getting better crafting materials, bringing them back here, and making sure that your character is getting stronger and stronger. To the center for a moment. Let's visit this person with the exclamation point above their head. This is the Scholar of Sin. They are linked to one of our monthly events. That's the one that we are going to be experiencing today, Sin. The public has not gotten to play that yet, so that's going to be exciting. But in addition to these monthly events, which usually consist of like quests and things like that, we also have weekly events. Once again, they tend to be quests that you can go on, and they kind of share like a fun story or theme, and this will also help you earn more of that bloodstone to trade in for Electrum so that you can get those skins, upgrade your character, respec your legacies, anything that you would want to do. Beasts, let's try attacking. So if you can left click anywhere, that's going to be your basic attack. You'll notice right now it doesn't do anything, but that's how you're going to activate your special ability. So up in the upper left-hand corner right now, you can see that energy bar is empty. You're going to fill that bar by attacking enemies with your basic attack, and once it's charged, you can go ahead and target them and click with the right click, and it will activate your special. So let's test it out for ourselves. If you guys want to move down to the south, let's see if we can find some enemies to take out. Of course, the guarded walls. We're going to try to want to stick to these main roads so we can all stay together. By this structure here, we can pause for just a moment, make sure we're all in the same spot.
Damn, Billy, stop running off.
Yes, all stick together, please, buddy system. Alright, so this is a shrine. This is one of the ways that you can move throughout the heartland. At any time, there's just a cooldown timer on it, but you can actually press R to return to the tower. Don't do it now, of course. But to move between different locations throughout each tier of the heartland, you can activate these shrines by uncovering them through the Fog of War. And there's a small silver cost associated with it, but you can use those to teleport between each space. So, you can earn silver by taking out beasts, so let's see if we can't earn some now. There's got to be some around here. Road, find some creatures. South a bit.
My moves.
Ah, there's one. So once again, that's going to be left click to attack them with your basic attack, and if you've earned a little energy out your special ability, you'll see that because these beasts sort of have like a fiery effect to them, they're actually considered infernals, and they're going to drop different crafting materials. There's different classification of beast, and each one will drop something a little different. Road here, there's sort of a crossroads we can all meet at. If you ever get lost, you can zoom back in on your mini-map once again by just sort of scrolling back in. We'll all meet at this crossroads, and then we are going to proceed south. So ultimately our goal today is that we want to try and get inside a dungeon. So this is done by taking out some regular beasts, and they're going to drop quest scrolls. Not always, but sometimes. There's a chance that they will. Quest scroll. This is something that we can take on, and it will spawn a quest monster for us, an elite monster, where it's basically like your standard beast, but a little bit bigger, a little bit scarier. They have minions with them, and there's a chance that they'll drop a dungeon key. So you can use those dungeon keys to unlock dungeon entrances and take on bosses for unique armor and things like that. So, oh, that's all right. We'll be able to let you into the dungeon, but if you were here by yourself, typically that's how you'd want to access it. To the road and meet up ahead here. Gonna move slightly to the left. And of course, and we're gonna keep going south, sort of this branch to the right. You're gonna want to watch out for that resin. You can see there's some people who aren't looking so good, sort of in that resin pool. That's the goo that came out of the world that corrupted the beasts. And as we're killing these creatures, you'll also see that we are all getting experience together. So experience and loot are both going to be shared, so you don't need to worry about who got the last kill, or if your friend isn't very good at sharing loot drops or anything like that. You'll be alright. Alright, and we've now entered the borderlands. So looking a little bit different here than they were before. That's because we have a lot of different biomes in the heartland. Each one has unique creatures in it. You're going to see that the enemies that you'll find in each place are sort of going to allude to the dungeon that lies ahead. And actually, I believe we're getting pretty close to that dungeon. It's a day-night cycle. We've hit nighttime, and that means that some different enemies are going to start appearing. A lot of bats, spiders, moths, things like that will come out at night. These don't look like cuddly bunny rabbits. These are chimera. They were beasts that probably once were your friendly neighborhood bunny, but they made contact with that resin, and they've been corrupted into these anthropomorphic, more sentient creatures.
Oh, great. They ruined Easter.
Bunch of them here. Let's see if we can take them out. We're almost at that dungeon entrance. Some last minute XP, pick up a few health potions. And I'd say we're here. So we're going to do a little off-roading if you guys just want to follow me down and to the left. an indicator showing up for you, of course. So those indicators will show up for quest monsters, for shrines, and also for dungeon entrances. So if you're having a tough time locating them, they'll be there to point you in the right direction as soon as you're within a reasonable vicinity of them. But of course, we've found it, and I think we're ready to take it on. So now that we're here, I'm going to hand you guys off to Alan, and he'll run you through our first dungeon, the Spawning Nest.
All right.
Yeah, thank you very much, Katie. So I am the delicious-looking piece of bacon in front of you guys, unless, of course, you don't eat pork, and then I'm disgusting.
That's a really good idea. To run around with bacon in the wild. Oh, well.
It helps keep it fresh and fun. So I'd like to introduce you guys to your very first dungeon run. So as you play through Survive By and you guys explore the world, you're going to run into dungeon entrances all over the place. And basically, just to re-emphasize the stuff that kind of Katie put you guys through, the core loop that you guys are doing is you're killing mobs, and then when they die, you're picking up bounty scrolls. When you pick up those bounty scrolls, you get to go after an elite monster. When you kill an elite monster, you're going to get keys, and those keys open up these dungeons. So you kind of want to go through and make sure you're collecting a lot of them. In fact, you might have bounty scrolls active right now down in your lower right-hand corner. Feel free to cancel it because we're not going to go after those elites. I happen to have some keys, and I'm going to run you through this dungeon. So this is an example of an early one. So I just want to run you in. So I'm going to open this. I'm opening up the door. So basically, because we encourage cooperative play, everybody that's around can enter this dungeon after I've opened it. A server can have 100 people in it, and if everybody happens to be around, all those people can jump into this dungeon. So just go up to that door and press E. Once we get everybody in here, I'll start talking about this dungeon. So technically, we could have 100 people in this dungeon at one time. I think the universe would blow up, but it's possible. So at some point, we'll see that actually happen in game. Not during this demo, but in the live game, I guarantee people will do stuff like that. So now that we're in this dungeon, you can look around, and over down here in the lower left-hand corner, you'll see an altar. These altars are kind of scattered everywhere, and if someone interacts with that, you'll notice that we all get that buff. We dynamically form a party together, all the experience we earn and whatnot. And then at that point, we can kind of just start exploring this dungeon and killing baddies. So I'm going to go down to the lower right. And one thing to keep in mind as we're playing this is, like, I have no idea what the layout for this dungeon is going to be. So every single instance in any single dungeon, as we continue to run in them, will be completely procedural generated. So every time you do it, it'll be a new experience for you and your friends. Or you and whatever other random people happen to join into the dungeon with you. So I'm noticing you guys are like level 6, level 7, somewhere in there. You're probably noticing that some of these bats and some of these spiders have little white flags above their head. What that indicates is that you're out-leveling your opponents, and they probably won't be able to do a whole lot of damage to you, but and the experience you'll get will also be reduced a little bit. That's not to say it's not worthwhile to do this dungeon, because the whole point in doing these dungeons and that core loop of collecting bounties is that there's special gear that you can only get by special gear and crafting materials you can only get by basically clearing a dungeon. So eventually, once we get far enough, we're actually going to find the end boss of this place. And if we do, we'll try to attack that end boss, kill him, and he'll have special drops for us. So you'll notice that these guys that are coming through the ground, the ones that look like kind of insectoids, are those are our Furies. And the beasts are the spiders and the bats that are flying around that were infected by the resin that these Furies brought into the world. So now that they're all crazy, so in a dead end like this, we just kind of did a loop around and we looked, but the point of the dead ends is once in a while they're worth doing because they'll have dangerous chests, treasure chests at the end of them. And if this one happened, unfortunately it didn't, but if it happened to have a treasure chest, we could have opened it and a bunch of baddies would have came out and we would have been able to kill them. And if we had beat them, that chest is going to turn, oh, an XP altar, I'm hitting this. All right, this will help us get even more XP. So if we happen to kill all the bad guys in the dangerous chest, it would drop more crafting components that we'd only be able to get in this dungeon, and even sometimes gear, which is definitely worthwhile doing. So we're just going to pass. This was the entrance. We're just going to keep on going. So this is an intro dungeon. So this gives you kind of an idea for what the early stage dungeons kind of feel like. More of an intense experience. You'll notice that we're killing a lot more stuff. Keep in mind your energy, you guys, is ramping up like crazy. The more you shoot, the more energy you get, and that's how you maintain your energy. So use that right click as much as possible. Why not? So here's mine. And that'll keep us healed up if we happen to need it. It will also deflect enemy projectiles, but every character has a unique special ability. I know a lot of you are playing the Harbinger, so your special ability is just going to auto-target a bad guy and then shoot them, and for critical damage, it's great. Alright. So we're doing pretty good clearing this place out. It's also good to keep in mind, like, keep on your eye on your opponents, on the bad guys inside the dungeon, because you'll notice that some of them, like, we're melting them pretty fast, but some of them will have a particle effect coming off them. And those particle effects, depending on which one it is, when you kill that baddie, he could leave some sort of benefit, or these guys are leading a lot of resin pools, but sometimes they'll leave healing pools and stuff like that. So if you stand inside of it with you and your party, you're going to get that benefit of being healed. All right, so this one, follow me this way, guys. Looks like be careful with the resin too. You could die, it could kill you. So here's the Hydra. So when we get into this, I want you guys just to take a quick run around the boss chamber and check out the Hydra. Take a look at him and get kind of an idea for his bullet pattern, because he's going to throw out a lot of bullets. Generally 3 small projectiles and then a larger arcing moon-shaped projectile that we're going to have to be careful about. So let's just do a circle around this dungeon. Yep. And dodge all the stuff, but just keep on dealing the damage. We'll probably melt them pretty fast. We're all a good level right now. Oh, he's invincible for a second. There. Let's see, I think we'll be able to take him out here. We're doing pretty good. Awesome. Okay, so we killed them. Now if you move up to the top, you're going to notice a loot bag was dropped for each individual person. So I'm going to open that loot bag. Make sure you go in and grab all the stuff. Hopefully you get some gear that your character can actually use. So what you'll do if you did, you can press the Q button now, and you'll see you get your character sheet. And then in your character sheet, you'll have an icon for a weapon or an amulet or ring or armor, whatever. So you click on those individual things and take a look at the armor you grab. Just click on it. You'll notice that, or the weapon, you'll notice that it gives you special attributes that you can use in your character. If you grab the weapon, you'll also notice that they might have special bullet patterns. So if you happen to get lucky, terrific. So the idea is, now that we've done that, hopefully me or our friends, you guys, would have more keys, and we continue to run this dungeon over and over in order to get all the good gear so we can move on. And if we don't get the gear, crafting components in order to make gear in order to move to the next hardest dungeon. So I'm going to exit out in this door. We can all meet back in the Heartland. So once we're all out here, I'm going to do something really crazy. So the point of Survive By is clearly to die. You gain more power the more times you die. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this dungeon again, and we're going to play the hard mode version of this dungeon, which is it's going to be insane. So we'll go in and we'll push as deep as we can. We're all going to die. So as long as everyone understands that that's okay, and that's kind of the point, we're going to do that. All right, I'm opening it. We're going hard mode. Let's see how we do. Everyone jump in. So this is literally for a player that's level 25. I'm level 8. You guys are 7. We're somewhere in there. We're going to get destroyed, and that's okay. Let's see how far we can push. And the idea here is we just want to show you, like, how far you possibly can come with the damage model. And, like, if once you get enough stuff, that you will actually easily be able to take on this dungeon. Right now, it's going to be hard for us. Oh, someone died. I'm paying respects. Oh, I'm dead. All right.
Refuse to die.
So once you die, just click on the continue button. This is totally intentional. And then you'll notice on the next page, you're going to get an idea for the equipment your character had. So every character, when you die, you can pass on one piece for free. So for me, I got a piece of armor. I'm going to mark for kin. There's a button to mark for kin, and that means that's going to go to my next descendant. And then the rest of it's going to be turned into Valor. Valor is what I use to buy more Ancestral Legacy cards or to upgrade my Ancestral Legacy cards that I earned from my playthrough. So I'm just going to continue there. Next, I get kind of an update of how my progress was with this character. I hit level 8. I got a total Valor of 430. That's terrific. And then you can take a look at the challenges for all of the ways that you earned Valor. And that's kind of the point. Like, the better your character is, the further you get in the game, the more challenges you complete, the more Valor you get as a character. So I'm going to continue past that page. And then you go to, like, when you created your characters, you saw your Ancestral Legacy cards. I'm back in that page. And now I notice that I have a new Ancestral Legacy card available. So if I click on that, it'll show me what it is. I happen to get Infernal Nemesis, so everybody probably will get something different. You might have also got Infernal Nemesis, and I can choose to consume that for more Valor, or I can choose to like level that card up over and over, and it'll become more powerful, and I can use it on my next character. I'm just going to next through there. And now, we're back at the main menu. So once has everyone gone through that process? I don't want to rush anybody, just wondering. So what we're going to do though is once you take a look at all the accomplishments your character made, your Ancestral Legacy, spend your Valor, upgrade, all that stuff. When you get back to the main menu, I want you to choose the next high character on your list, level 25 character. Is someone still fighting?
Yeah, I was.
Nah.
Oh, good for you, man. Jeez. Yeah, so just now that you're dead, just go through that process. Take a look at your accomplishments as a character. You went all the way from level 1 all the way probably up to level 7 or 8, which is really good. Gives you an idea for how fast, considering level 25 is the level cap. And then there's different ways to level up and gain power after that. Take a look at your new legacy or legacies that you earned. And then once you get there, move back, upgrade everything, go next. And then when you go to choose a new character, instead of building a new character, choose one of the pre-made characters, a 25 level character.
Hey everyone, I also just wanted to ask really quickly if you had any questions right now for Alan, especially when it comes to like the legacies or like set bonuses. Like that's the really big cool part about Survive By.
So
there's little nuances in there for sure. You want to try to match symbols, like you'll see a percentage symbol maybe or a heart symbol, and when you match those, if you get multiple legacies that share symbols, they will give you an extra set bonus. So it's good to mix and match them and figure them out. So it's not just the bonus that the individual card, the individual legacy gets you, it's also how you kind of work with them and team them up together, and which ones you pick to complement one another.
I see.
Yeah, so you can like, we're leaving that up for the players to really discover like the different legacies for themselves and like how they can mix and match whatever, how like basically preference of how you want to play. So ideally you could even have an archer that's just like life stealing, possibly. I don't know. There's like so many cards and different like combinations that you could work with.
I see.
So once you get, so once you figure that out and then you go and you pick your next high level character, just go and press the Q button again and take a look at your character. So in the Q button, you can take a look at some of the gear you have. And now I want you just to like take a look at that weapon and take a look at how it's different and how much of an advantage it gives you, how much more power it has. It also shoot it a few times because it'll probably have a special, it could potentially have a new bullet pattern too. These are things that are important because the bullet patterns, for instance, or the benefits, the individual benefits that those weapons or gear might have is also completely craftable. So if you got a bullet pattern you don't necessarily like, you can go to our crafters and you can spend a little bit of the materials that you earned out in the field and you can have them craft another one for you, or random, so all of a sudden you can try out a different version of that same weapon. And this is also a way, when you take a look at the gear and the equipment, the weapons and whatnot, we also tell a little bit of the story around Survive By in the description itself, which is also kind of interesting to know. So if you want to dive into the lore a bit more, it's kind of fun to read all the little descriptions that we offer. A little bit of flavor, if you will. Yeah, and I think that's where I'm going to pass you off to the creative director, Ryan Jackson.
Yeah, thanks, Alan. All right, so I'm going to be talking to you guys about this new Sin event that's been alluded to a couple of times. And while I do that, Katie is going to use some GM magic to teleport you all to a massive ziggurat out in the middle of the desert. So with our event system, as has been mentioned several times, your character is going to die. And we've been here for 30, 40 minutes maybe. Some level 7 characters, some level 8 characters. So, a character that gets really powerful could have many, many hours behind it. So it's important for us that when you go through and you make a new character, because that first one's died, that the variety is there, that there's something new and different and interesting for you to do with this character that wasn't necessarily there for your last character. We achieve some of that with the legacies that have been talked about, the new classes, the gear customization, the bullet patterns, all of that crafting. But the event system is designed to just expand upon that by creating content that will be around for a couple of days or a week. It'll have unique activities for you to do, unique rewards to earn, and then that'll cycle out and a new one will cycle in. So what I'm about to show you is Sin. Looks like someone might have stepped up to pick a fight with him already. That's very brave of you. This is our very first world boss. And as part of the Sin event, you can earn gear, skins, and titles that once the Sin event is done, you'll never be able to earn again. And as a world boss, the fight against him can be done by as many players as are on the server. So 7, 8 of us now. We could have dozens of players up here, trying to take him out. So one thing you'll want to keep in mind is that you can retreat. Since this is a world boss, if you need if you take a little bit of damage and need to go down the stairs to heal up a bit, you're welcome to. It's part of the design. Also part of the design is he can heal himself like he just did. This ensures that we get a good group up here to take him out. So he's going to periodically summon these obelisk structures that will, once he summoned them, they not only provide cover, but they'll also, if they are allowed to reach him, will heal him. So whenever those show up, it's really important that we take them out fast, or we'll lose a lot of the progress we had made. And I'm going to probably start talking a little more haltingly as I try to not die in this fight. So defeating him will reward, or can reward, rare crafting materials that are used to make the...
Oh, respects. Oh, crap.
Used to make the rare crafting materials that will allow you to create custom gear that you can only get from the materials that drop during this event.
Oh man, that was crazy. We got 1/5.
Hello everyone, back at the end now. I hope you enjoyed that. Now for the questions. We spoke to Ryan Jackson at Human Head, who is the creative director for this game, Survived By. And the first question we asked was, why the art style? Well, graphic style. His answer was, we did a lot of market research as the game started to take shape, and one of the most important elements of a bullet hell style game was a visual identity that made identification of allies, enemies and bullets very quick and simple. Retro style visuals gave us a good option for achieving that goal. Second question was, is there a main story arc for gamers looking for more of a story like myself? I love games with a story. The answer we got was, when players make a new character in Survived By, they are joining humanity at the end of a brutal campaign waged against them by the Chimera. These players will have the chance to discover why the war started, who is pulling the strings, and what their enemies hope to accomplish. The story is told primarily through a mix of item descriptions, NPC dialogue, and enemy dialogue, but also includes subtle clues found in the environment and the ravings of the mad. Okay, the third question was, I don't like games that feel same all the time. You know, you log into the game, the same shit over and over again. I wanted something new. I wanted to feel something new. So when I log in, I'm going to have something new to play, something new to do, something extra. So I asked that question: how they're going to add more content to the gameplay to mix things up. Survived By will have weekly events, weekly changes when it comes to new content and features. Every update will bring new additions for the players to see and do in the game, including new gear to collect, new dungeons to explore, and new opponents to destroy. Human Head and Digital Extremes are committed to add monthly events on a rotation basis and build the game with us, the gamers. As we evolve as gamers, so will the developers, and the game with us at the same time. Now for the quick questions. Custom servers, private servers, no. There you go, simple answer. Guilds, friendless, in-game VIP, housing and such. Community is a very important part of Survived By. With expanded party and guild tools, something that's very important to us. In-game voice and player housing are great ideas, but they would be a long way off. So that was it. I hope you enjoyed the first look at Survived By, and I'll see you in game.